Good afternoon. Shawn here with Accelerators Organization, ready for today's mentor session. Super excited and welcome to all of the new members that signed up for AO today. We look forward to connecting with you after your onboarding video with Shirley. This is our first question to start the day, and it comes from Heather Brockman. And Heather says, what are some good responses Let's try this again. The first question comes from Heather Brockman. She says, what are some good responses when your employees are constantly saying how tired they are, comparing themselves to you saying they aren't robots like me? The background is, my groomers work 4 days as a full-time shift, and most of the time they have 10-hour days. Most have a bather with them. I get so tired of hearing how tired they are all the time. I lay out the potential for them to make more money than any other company in Houston, yet all I hear is how overworked they are, no matter how many dogs they have. It irritates me to no end hearing it on a daily basis and then having them tell me, I'm not you, Heather. I don't ask them to do anything I wouldn't or haven't done, and in fact, they do less dogs than I ever did when I was working, so my responses are getting snappy. Does anyone else deal with this, and what are some good ways to counteract this, what I perceive as lazy attitude? Heather has a mobile pet grooming unit. You know, Heather, this is 100% common for startup entrepreneurs, which you're probably outside the time frame of startup entrepreneur, but this is very common. You know, I had a 24/7 call center in my last company, and by the time I ended up leaving the company, we had 3 or maybe even 4 different shifts, because unlike yours, which is a lot of manual labor as well, sitting at a desk, taking phone calls from clients that were having problems with their computer wasn't the most glamorous job, and there was a lot of turnover. And we tried all kinds of things: 4-day work weeks, 3-day work weeks, 5-day work weeks. We tried all kinds of things to make it happy. And at the end of the day, it was impossible to make everybody happy. But the bottom line is your team is correct. They're not you. They're not going to be as passionate as you are. Usually, you might find a diamond in the rough of somebody who is willing to work as hard as you did, and that's fantastic. But by and large, most employee mindsets are not wanting to work as hard as you did. So here are some things that I would think about and maybe talk to your employees during their monthly or quarterly review. What is it that individual groomer wants? You know, maybe you might have a groomer that would work 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts, and be happy because they want more money. Maybe you have somebody that wants to work 5 days a week but only work 8-hour shifts. Maybe you want to have somebody that wants to work 6 days a week and wants 6-hour or 7-hour work days. Or maybe you want someone that just wants to work 3 days a week and work 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day, and that still helps you. The bottom line is if I look at your business on a chart, I see here's how many clients I have versus this is how many groomers I have. This is how much it takes for each slot. So my thing is I don't care if I have 20 groomers doing all the work or 5 groomers doing all the work. I just want all the work done because I'm going to pay somebody based on the work that they do. Now here's something that you could take into consideration, and I know you have modified your compensation plan over time. Maybe you say if you work X amount of hours and hit this amount of dogs, your compensation rate goes to this. But if you only want to work 3 days a week and only, groom this many dogs, then this is your scale. And maybe you have a tiered compensation plan. And this will allow your team to pick the amount of hours that they want to work, and then you have a quota of this is how many dogs you have to groom within an hour. This will help you determine whether or not you need to hire more groomers, which I know you always want to be hiring more groomers because there's a lot of business to be had. But I think it's reasonable to think that your team has their own concerns, their own life, their own everything, and they're not going to be as passionate about it as you. And our job is to just fill the seats that need to be filled. And this is going to be a constant battle, just like hiring people for working in a restaurant or working retail. This is a very common issue with high turnover type of positions, which yours is, as you know. I want to just make sure that my team respects me, that they like me, that they love working for the company, that they understand everything that the company does for them. All they're doing is showing up, and they already have clients. They're not like self-employed groomers that have to go out there and spend 20% of their money on marketing efforts. They don't have to deal with refunds. They don't have to deal with a lot of different things that your business has to deal with that they don't. And I would certainly make sure that my team understands everything that I do that they couldn't do on their own. And there's value to that, and make sure they appreciate that. So these are some ideas that I would think about. I certainly understand getting a short fuse. But man, as a leader, as you know, we can't have a short fuse with our team. I did it when I first started out, and I lost some employees, and so what? I made it work. But it was easier for me to find people. In your business, it's harder for you to find people. And there's a fine line between you feeling like you're getting taken advantage of or being held hostage because they know that you need them, and you, over the years, having somebody that you just say, you know what? Screw this. You're out of here. I need you, but I don't need you so bad that it's going to mess with my happiness. This also is a great thing with your operational manager when you come to Nashville for the next retreat on leadership. This is something that you can put a bridge between you and your team by having an operational person that's kind of the bad guy and you're the good guy all the time, and you separate those processes and HR issues of unhappy and disgruntled team members and such. And there'll be a transition process for something like that, okay? I hope that helps, but this all just comes down to great communication with each individual person and treating them like an individual person. That's the great thing about small businesses, is it's not so big that you can't have individual relationships with your team. When you start to get to have 15, 20 employees, then it gets a little rougher and you start to bring in an additional management layer. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, next question. All right, Nick, glad you can hear me. Glad you guys can hear me here. Okay, the next question comes from Brad Coleman. And Brad says, do you think it is important to have a face behind the brand? The background is, I own a luxury e-commerce brand, and I want to know if it's important to have a face behind the brand, meaning behind the scene videos, introduction, etc., so your customer knows who they're buying from. I don't plan on staying anonymous, but right now I am still small and don't have a lot to show behind the scenes that I want shown. Thanks. Okay, so Brad, I don't necessarily know if it's important for every brand to have a face, a person. I do know that every brand needs to have a story, especially a startup brand, a lifestyle brand especially. The audience, the future customers, the clients, they want to buy into the brand's lifestyle. They want to understand who and what they're connecting with. So regardless of whether it's you as the face or the brand has an amazing brand story, it's important for that brand to give something that somebody can connect with. Your items of clothes and apparels and things like that, that's not the connection. The connection is the story and the feeling that somebody's going to get from being a part, being a client of your brand. Very important. I certainly think a small lifestyle brand that's just starting out probably would include a story about the founder of why this was created out of a passion project, and it's meant to be a long-term business that connects this brand's clients with this type of lifestyle. I do think that's important. Now, that's an opinion. I'll get some other mentors who are more around the branding and the lifestyle space to answer this for you. When I look to buy things, especially from a company that is new and startup and lifestyle, I certainly hit the About Us section of their website to see if I get a connection. And certainly the visual elementation on the website itself, I need to connect with the look and the feel and the copy and the words that are being used so that I can determine if I connect with that brand. Very, very important. Okay? Hope that helps, man. Okay, the next question comes from Christopher Joseph, and Christopher says, when picking a name for a product or company, would a name in which Google tries to suggest something else, as in, did you mean, because there are minimal accurate results, be advantageous or disadvantageous? The background is we're looking to pick a name for our company, and one of the options produces no results, and thus Google searches for what it thinks is a better search. Is this an advantageous situation in that when we register the name, we will be the top hit because there's nothing else with that name? Or is a name like this disadvantageous because Google will try to search something more relevant as far as SEO? Okay, I like this question, and to be completely candid, I have no idea as far as whether or not it's advantageous or not. But I'll tell you this. When Google came out, do you think that if somebody typed in the word Google, anybody would know what that meant? When somebody typed in, I don't know, I'm just thinking off the wall, Tesla, Nikola Tesla would come up. When someone types in something, just think of some weird name company that there's no way that it's not in the dictionary. It's just a fabricated name. Do you think that it matter to the scale of the company? Probably not. What's more important is that we build out our website so that it takes advantage of all of the search engine optimization in order to do good search engine marketing. I'm going to make sure that one of our mentors, Jim, answers this question for you because he's a search engine optimization and marketing expert. And as we've been building out the website for Accelerators Organization, this is something that was really big in their copy, in the way that they did the website. And search engine marketing is a big way to get business, and it's something that should not be taken lightly out there. Personal opinion, I would not care if I typed in my desired product or company name and it yielded no results. It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't stop me because I know that when building a brand, it takes time to build a brand and its phases. You know, there's the brand awareness phase, there's the retargeting and remarketing phase, there's the connection. There's so many things that go into building a brand, and it just takes time. It wouldn't concern me starting a business that if I searched, it yielded no results. Okay, hope that helps, man. Let us know what name you came up with. Okay, the next question comes from Levi. Levi, long time, man. Wish you would get out there and do some Flex Fridays, okay? Question from Levi is, how do I take full advantage of the AO resources when I don't know what kind of business I want to start? The background is none. I don't have a business. I'm a young guy who wants to be an entrepreneur, but I don't quite have my business ideas figured out. I'm a copywriter and a social media manager, and I work with small businesses to build their followings and leverage followers to create more sales. Well, it sounds like to me, Levi, well, let me first answer your question before I give you some feedback and advice. To take advantage of the AO resources, maybe if you ever feel lost and you're not sure how to take advantage of AO to its fullest extent, book a get out of jail call with me. You know, that's what it's there for. If you ever feel lost or you feel stuck, book a call with me, man. I'm more than happy to talk with you for 15 minutes and just get right to it and see where I could point you in the right direction. And there are some things you can do, even though you might not be ready to quite start your business right now, but there's some things you could do to start prepping for it. You can also reach out to Shirley, your connection manager, if you haven't talked with her. She'll show you how everything works in the new AO as we've expanded our features and benefits. And she's always there to talk as well. But just book a call with me, man. I'm more than happy to work with you. There's lots of things you could be doing right now to just prep yourself for the business that you want to start. You could start as a side business right now, providing some of the services that you do at your job in social media management and copywriting. There's lots of things that you could do there. You could put a profile up on Upwork or Fiverr and start getting some side hustle gigs if you're allowed to do that, as far as the relationship with the company you work for. So there's lots of things you could do on the side to start building that business. Okay? Hope that helps, man. Okay, the next question comes from Ashley, and Ashley says, how should I connect with home builders so I don't come off as spammy? The background is I own a residential and commercial cleaning company. Over the last year, I have been developing a master list of home builders and their construction and new build locations in the Ottawa area. I want to start reaching out to them, offering them my services, and secure my spot on their bid list. Okay, Ashley, here is what I would recommend. I'm just going to go straight to the best thing that you could do. I would send me an email, Shawn, SHAWN, at AskAMillionaire.com, and I would say, Shawn, can you please put me in touch with Tom Black so he can help me write my phone scripts and objection handling scripts. It will be the best $500 that you could ever spend. To be able to work with a guy like Tom, who has trained thousands of salespeople and is expert at doing exactly what you want to do, that's what I would do. Okay, 100%. Now, if you don't have $500 budget to do that, which hopefully you do, also what I would do is I would recommend going into the AO portal, and I would click on Pro Code Sales, and I would go through the 11 hours of sales training that's included that Tom normally charges $1,000 for, but you get it as part of being a member of AO, and I would start going through all of that training. Because what's important is if you're going to be a salesperson for your company, you want to be the best and most professional salesperson you can be, and that would mean creating scripts, understanding personality types, knowing how to make a presentation, being respectful of their time, reading personalities, overcoming objections, establishing relationship and creating a rapport of trust, follow-up, enthusiasm, word smithing and word economy, and all of the different training that Tom does in that 11 hours of training. That's what I would do. As you go through that training, feel free to ask more questions. But if you're ready to start calling on home builders now, I would 100% urge you to take advantage of this very generous offer from Tom for $500 to help you build out the scripts and train you on it, okay? Shoot me an email. Would love to get you the connection. It's the right thing to do. But otherwise, Pro Code Sales in the portal will really, really help you understand how to go out there and start making sales calls for your company. Okay? Thanks. Okay, the next question comes from Ashley, and Ashley says, should I do Groupons or Facebook ads? The background is I own a residential and commercial cleaning company. I have done Groupon in the past. It generated about $400 a week for me in revenue. However, Groupon took 17% of the already discounted sale. It did then get me some regular clients that I was able to upsell. I'm green when it comes to running my own Facebook ads, and the quotes that I have gotten from Facebook ad experts are a little out of my budget and only a lead, as Groupon already sells the lead. Okay, so I love this question, because if you got some good customers and leads from Groupon, and then you are able to upsell them and turn them into longer term customers, and there is a positive return on investment for you, my advice would be, yes, keep doing Groupons. As it relates to Facebook ads, as someone who is going through this myself and has seen the process, it's better to use an agency, 100%. And you will need a great website that's ready to start running Facebook ads. It will need to be 100% perfect to start running ads. You'll also need ads. So whether it's video ads or photography, image type ads and copy, you're going to need ads that convert, and you're going to need to analyze and track that for 90 days until you find a sweet spot that actually works. You're going to need a budget of a media buy, the actual cost of the advertising, of at least $1,000 to $1,500 per month to start. An agency's probably going to be about $4,000 a month to do all that stuff for you. And it is very, very complex to do Facebook and online ads that actually produce a 2 or 3 times return on ad spend, which is called ROAS, which is what you want. I haven't met many people that were able to run Facebook ads on their own and turn a really strong profit from it. And if they did, they were the type of person that was really analytical and really technologically oriented for it, and they weren't outperforming the services that their company provides. So like in your situation, you might be out cleaning, or you might have a team that you really need to manage. It is very complex business, the world of online advertising these days, and it's getting even more complex. And it requires people that are basically living and breathing it every single day in order to get a strong return. Now, another thing you might start considering is casting a wider net and running some ads in local magazines, working with your Chamber of Commerce, getting involved in some construction industry associations where they might give you the list. I really like your concept of making phone calls and just calling on your target customers. But for residential, if Groupon gets you a good return on investment, go for it and spend more. Listen, I'll spend $1 to make $2 any day of the week. And I'll spend $10,000 to make $20,000 every day of the week and twice on Sundays. It's all about getting that real measurable return on investment. Okay? Hope that helps, Ashley. Okay, the next question comes from Ashley. And Ashley says, what is the best way to generate leads? The background is I own a cleaning company right now, and I'm experimenting with Groupon and Facebook ads, wondering if there's anything else that I should try. So I certainly think it would be great to create an introduction plan for your existing customers. Now notice how I didn't use the word referral program. People these days love to make introductions to other people, but they hate giving referrals. It's really weird. It's just a different word, but it's the same thing. So maybe it is you meet with your customer, your client, and assuming this is residential, and you say, Joanne, thank you so much for letting me clean your house. Here are 3 cards that will get you 25% or 20% off your next service. All I want you to do is give me the name and phone number of the person that you can introduce me to that may or may not need our services. You don't have to determine whether or not they're going to need our services. I just want you to give me their name and their phone number. And if I give them a call and let them know that I was referred by you, you'll give us a good recommendation. And if I close it out and they become a client, I'll give you 20% off of a service. And I can give you up to 3 of these right now. So start some sort of introduction type of program with your existing clients. But you'll need good sales scripts in order to turn them into actual clients. Okay? So that's one way. Another way would be to get involved in some Facebook groups in the home industry and start sharing things that people should know when cleaning their houses. Become an expert and just share some of the products that you use and some of the things that people may not be aware of that could be creating bacteria or bad air quality or something in their house. Just start trying to find some value out there in Facebook groups, or maybe on your Instagram accounts. If you have Instagram, become known as the best cleaning company. I don't know, I'm just throwing out some ideas. Maybe relationships with entrepreneurial groups. Entrepreneurial people live very busy lives. And if you could put together maybe a short introductory video series that explains how much time you could help free up for them, and that it's not as expensive as they may think it is, and it's as secure as it needs to be so that they don't have to feel like their privacy is being invaded, and you go out there to the entrepreneurial community And it really helps if you maybe find people that all live in a certain condo complex or something like that, to where maybe you can put up flyers in different condominium complexes. Need your condo cleaned? We're here every Thursday, and that way you book up every Thursday, Friday at a different condominium complex. We had somebody at the last condo place that I lived at, and that's where I got the person's phone number to come clean my condo once a week. So maybe that might help. So those are some ideas I can think up off the top of my head. Hope that helps. Okay, the last question comes from AJ, brand new member here in AO. Welcome, AJ. How is that? You joined today, you submit a question, and I'm already answering it within a couple hours. How's that for speed? AO is like no other. Okay, AJ's question says, how to begin training my first hire. The background is, hey, Shawn and mentors, first question here from me. I'm about 8 months into the entrepreneurial journey and am quickly learning that I don't have the time or bandwidth to accomplish everything I sell. My business is a growth agency that includes web development, and I've had a skilled friend working on a project-by-project basis for the last 6 months. We are financially at the point to supporting hiring him part-time, and I am excited to be training him to do many of the low-level tasks that are currently on my plate. But I'm also nervous about this, as I know that many first-time hires don't work out well. I've also seen how a training process can make or break someone who would otherwise be a good team member. I'd really appreciate input on what you learned relating to this topic. Thanks. Fantastic. AJ, there is a software that I use called Trainual. www.trainual.com. Trainual. It's about $100 a month. And it is a way that you can document your processes with writing and videos in order to train somebody on anything you want them to do. And all they have to do is follow the steps that you've laid out in the training. Videos and doing screen capture videos on your computer, if it's computer stuff, is so amazing. I use a screen capture software called Loom, LOOM.com, and it's free. And you can record up to 5 minutes of your screen share with voice to train somebody how to do something. And you document those processes in Trainual, and that way, when you hire somebody and you say, these are the tasks that you're going to be performing in your job for the first day or the first 6 hours or the first 4 hours, how long it's going to take, I want you to go through these training videos and watch them, and then I'm going to give you some sample test projects within each of these tasks for you to perform to see if you can follow along and do these based on the trainings. You talk about being able to set your team member up for success. That's one way to do it. Now, here's the only other thing that I would consider. You said, I've hired a skilled friend working on a project-by-project basis. We want to make sure that the work that you are tasking to a new employee fits what they've already been doing. So here's where I'm feeling this. If you've got a web development person that's been doing project web development stuff for you, and now you're going to put them into doing some administrative stuff for you, that's different. And you might want to have a good conversation with the person you're hiring and make sure that they understand all the different job duties that you're going to be having them do, and make sure that they understand it and that they agree that that's what they want to do, okay? Because we want to put the right people in the right seats within our company. You also want to be very clear, especially if this is a part-time person. Remember, if it's a 1099 worker, you've got to be very careful about assigning work hours. You know, when I have a 1099 person, I say, hey, listen, you can get this stuff done all throughout the day. I would appreciate it if you could be available during these hours, but it's very important that you don't break the employee 1099 rules within your state, because you don't want to create some sort of liability or unemployment insurance or tax burden for yourself, okay? But that's what I would recommend. Now, if you don't want to spend $100 a month for Trainual, you could document your processes in a Google Doc or something like, or a spreadsheet or something like that. but Trainual is so worth it. Now, if you do get the Trainual software, Trainual gives our AO members a 10% discount. When you sign up, just use code AO10, the number 10, and you get a 10% discount on Trainual. It's a great software. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't use it and didn't think it was amazing. The last part of the question that I want to answer for you on this as well, AJ, is, when we hire people, we want to make sure that we help them understand the type of culture that we have as a company. Every company has its own voice and culture. Some are more fun, some are serious, some are straight-laced, some allow cursing, some are, whatever it might be. One of the things that I'd recommend doing is developing a set of core values for your company. And in the branding section, if you go into the AO portal and go into the resource center in the branding category, you're going to see some articles and resources around creating core values. And I would recommend having some core values so that you know that people aren't just joining your company because they need a paycheck or they can do the job. They really want to belong to a company that they can be proud to work at, and they match from a value system perspective. So check that out and maybe look to develop 5 or 6 core values for your company. Okay? And in the branding section, there is a whole PDF called Brand Strategy. I would print that out and go through the whole thing. It'll really help your business. Okay? That PDF document is worth, the thing's worth $100. Like, I could probably sell that for $100 all day long on Instagram. It's a great document that we put together. Okay? Hope that helps. All right. That is the last question of the day here and I'm moving my screen over here. Give me a second. All right. So that was the last question of the day. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Where is my mouse now? There it is. I hope you guys got some value out of this. That was a really, really fun session. Some great answers. If you're watching this, you're going to be able to watch this on our YouTube channel, on Accelerators Organization YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe to that so you can watch all these playlists on replay. Super excited. Thanks for coming and joining, and I hope everybody got some good value. All right, peace out, and I'll see you soon.